Well guys, let's just continue please. Section 3 or part 3, questions 21 to 26, right? And which attitude is associated, underline the word attitude. Which attitude is associated with the following people during the conversation? So attitude associated with the following people during the conversation. Now attitudes are amused. For amused, they can use any synonym. B is critical, and by the way, you don't need to read the names. That is questions. You don't need to read the questions. You know why? Because questions are only the names. So basically attitudes are more important than the questions. Now if you read the name, 21 Cressida's fellow students, 22 Cressida, 23 Ensley Webb. So names will not tell you anything. But looking at attitudes and thinking about the synonyms for attitudes, that will help you. B is critical. C is forgetful. Forgetful means when you forget about things. D is impatient. Impatient means have no patience. E is polite. F is relaxed. G is sympathetic, and H is unrealistic. Now they will talk about it one by one, and you got to listen and then see. For example, Cressida's fellow students, what was their attitude? Were they amused, critical, forgetful, impatient? And one more thing. Now what you do, you will put your left hand on the questions, left finger on the questions, and the right hand that holds the pencil, you will put it on the options. And one more thing, you're going to put the pencil at the end of the options, like not on the left side when the options finish. For example, we've got here amused. So put your pen after the D of amused, like this at the end. Why at the end? Because when you put your pen on the right side at the end of the word, automatically your eyes will look at all the words. If you put your pen here, you will be looking at the numbers A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So never put your pen on the left side, put it at the end on the right side. Okay, now if you put it on the right side, I can easily see amused, and the pen will move. And for example, if you see for 21, they talked about politeness, or they said something about politeness. So in front of polite, either you can write 21, or hurriedly you can write E after 21. It's up to you. Do you understand? I mean, for example, for question number 22, the answer is F, relaxed. Now instead of coming back to question 22 and in the blank writing the word for relaxed is F, you can write in front of relaxed 22. Why? Because one option will be used once only. So this is fine. This is how you'll be having fewer options, right? Anyways, let's just take a start. Questions 21 to 26.
That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 26.
Well, Cressida, that was an interesting presentation you gave yesterday on your placement at the TV News Centre.
Thank you, Dr. Erskine. I did work hard on it.
Yes, and you did entertain the class. They enjoyed your humour, but you informed them too. But I felt there was a bit of a backstory. You know, something you weren't telling us. So how was it really?
Yeah, well, I learned a lot, as I said.
Mm-hmm.
But I think some of the lessons weren't ones I wanted to share with the whole group.
Ah.
I mean, my expectations about what it would be like were too high. I'd been fantasizing a bit about what I'd be doing. I mean, it all worked out okay in the end. But I got off to a bad start.
Yes, I heard something similar from the producer, Ainsley Webb, who assessed your performance. He was quite negative about some of the things you did and your initial attitude, I'm afraid. Would you like to give me your version?
I I didn't prepare properly is the main thing. On my first morning, I hadn't checked my commuting route properly. And I didn't notice that it says the buses don't start till 6. I had to run all the way to the studio, but I was still late, and I looked a mess.
Well, better at this stage of your career than later. To be honest, I made the same kind of mistakes when I was your age. But anyway, as I say, I think the presentation yesterday went extremely well, and I will bear that in mind when I grade your work experience overall.
Thank you for being so understanding.
Right, now, have you completed your diary of what you did there? Professor Jenkins hasn't received it, he said.
Yes, I have finished it, but I wanted to just tidy it up a bit. Some of it was written in a bit of a hurry. I'll email it to him this afternoon.
Okay, but I'm afraid he says this will have to be the last time you submit late. Journalism is all about deadlines, and if you can't manage them on your course, he can't give you a diploma saying you're competent, can he?
Oh, yes, I'll do it straight after this. I didn't realise.
Well, he can be a bit abrupt if he's kept waiting. It's the one thing he really doesn't like.
Ooh.
I'm sure everything is going to be fine. You're getting very good grades on your work, so as long as you remember that.
Yes.
Now, did you manage okay generally, do you think?
Yeah, okay, I think. Well, it took a while to get to grips with all the equipment. Some of it was quite old, not as fast as what we have here in college, and at first I kept thinking it was my fault. I wasn't pressing the right buttons or something. The thing was, none of the TV centre staff asked me if I wanted instructions. If I asked them how to do some particular operation, they were perfectly civil and would show me, and even say thank you for what I did do. But I felt awkward to keep asking.
Alright, so let's just see. You are expecting some more, waiting for some more. Alright, question number 21. Cressida's fellow students. It is, for that they use the word they liked your humor. So humor means amused. A will be the right answer for question number 21. Question number 22. Cressida. You know, she was saying I was fantasizing. Unrealistic. When you fantasize something, you are unrealistic. Got it? The connection. Unrealistic and fantasize. Question number 23. Enslave web. Yeah, said negative. They use the word said negative about you and all that. That is critical. So the answer is B. B for boy. Question number 24, Dr. Erskine. They use the word, he said, I made the same kind of mistake. When somebody tells you his problem, somebody says, I have a headache, I also have a headache. Sympathetic, exactly. You know, that's what, how you do the sympathies and all that, yeah? So it's sympathetic. Question number 25, Professor Jenkins. Impatient. Well done. Very good. They were talking about submission and this is the last time he's not going to give you this and all that. And question number 26, TV news staff. Polite. How do we understand? See, she used the word civil. They were all civil and they said thank you and all that. When you are civil or you say thank you, that means you are polite. So question number 26, E will be the right answer. You must listen to this. I mean, this test is not the one that we say easy one. It's basically above moderate level. So you need to practice, okay? Now, let's move ahead, please. Questions 27 to 30. Choose the correct letter. Multiple choice. In multiple choice, you need to read the question carefully. And the success comes when you eliminate the wrong options successfully. Elimination, instead of focusing the right answer, you must focus what is the right answer and what is the wrong answer, and wrong answer must be eliminated. So, question number 27. What was Cressida asked to do at the beginning of her placement? She was asked to do something at the beginning of her placement. A. Go out to buy things for the production team. B. Run errands to other parts of the TV news center. C. Meet visitors and escort them to the studio. You understand? Out of 3, 2 options will be neglected or denied, and 1 is going to be the right answer. Question number 28. What was fortunate for Cressida? Out of 3 things, 1 thing was fortunate. And what is that? A. She was familiar with a piece of equipment. Like she says, there was an amplifier and I had used that before. Or there was a camera and I had already used that before. B. She spent a lot of time in the editing suite. Editing suite means editing room. So she spent a lot of time there.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation,
Alright. C. She was given a chance to interview someone. So for someone they can use the name and all that. Question number 29. What does Cressida feel she needs to improve? Area of improvement. A. Understanding of business. B. Organizational skills. C. Ability to work in a team. Question number 30. What has given her an idea for her final assignment? Now there is something that has given her some idea for final assignment. A. Meeting with a public relations professional. B. Seeing a politician. Just focus the word politician speaking. And C. Disagreement with one of the TV presenters. Now what has given her an idea? They will talk about all 3 options, but they will deny other 2 options, or they will speak about them negatively. They'll speak about one option positively, that will be the answer. So we start questions 27 to 30.
you have some time to look at questions 27 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 27 to 30.
Now, well, let's just review where you are, your write-up, and what you're going to include going forward to next term. First of all, did you eventually feel you were given enough to do?
The first couple of days were manic. The production team was short of staff, and I was rushing all over the building, taking messages to various people and fetching things. Of course, I didn't know my way around, so I kept ending up in some storeroom or somewhere instead of the studio I was meant to be in. Or I mistook some important visitor for a colleague because I didn't know who anyone was. Then, after that, things sort of calmed down. So sometimes I was hanging about until someone decided to give me a chore. But I had a piece of luck at the end of the week, because they got a new bit of equipment which was the same as we have in the editing suite here, and I knew how to use it, which none of them did. So that gave me a bit of status. Unfortunately, it meant I spent the next 3 days stuck in the editing suite. But by the end, I'd shown I wasn't just a silly student. So then, when the senior reporter needed someone to go out with him when he went to interview a junior minister, I got to go along, because he knew I could handle the technical side.
Well, that's good.
Yes. Well, I know I need to learn from my mistakes. I mean, basically, I need to think more about forward planning. But on the other hand, I feel much more confident now. I did survive. I didn't ruin anything. I did actually make a contribution, according to the producer. One thing I want to take forward to my final assignment, though, is some reflections on ethics.
Yes?
I had a bit of an argument with one of the senior presenters. He was editing part of an interview, and he just changed something someone said. When I questioned him, he just snubbed me. I mean, this wasn't some public relations expert or government professional spokesperson. It was like a member of the public. But he said, Oh, they never remember what they said anyway.
You want to develop this into part of your final assignment? It would be a very positive line. I can give you some references.
Oh, thanks. That would be great.
All right. Here? Okay, they switched it on. All right. Question number 27. It is actually B. When she said they sent me here and there to run errands, it's an idiomatic expression. Like when you are sent here and there, or you run around here and there, do this, do that. You know, when somebody goes to an office. Once I joined a property dealer as a surveyor. I was free, I had nothing to do, so I thought I should go to property dealer and all that. So there one day I was there, their office boy was absent, and the guy sent me, Asad, go make some tea, Asad, go get the cold drink, Asad, go get the biscuits and all that. So that's what I could say. I ran errands to other parts of the place and all that, okay. So it's B. You can listen to it again, and you need to find logic and reason behind every right answer. You must know that, and that's what you can, for that you can listen to the audio 10 times, 15 times, but you must be sure that this is the answer. Next, what was fortunate to Cressida? It is A. She was familiar with a piece of equipment. For that they said they had this thing and I already knew how to use that. So she was familiar with a piece of equipment. Question number 29. What does Cressida feel she needs to improve? Yes, organizational skills. For that she used the word forward planning or things like that. So organizational skills, how to organize, that is forward planning. And question number 30, it is C. Why? Because she said I had an argument and he snubbed me and all that. A disagreement with one of the TV presenters.